Everyone, it's me again. I want to do something a little bit different with this video. I have quite a few interests, and that was my intention to talk about all that on YouTube. It just so happened that the other videos, the narcissism, all that stuff, was kind of a big thing in my life, so it was very cathartic to vlog about that, and I will continue to make those videos as long as everyone finds them helpful. But today I wanted to talk about something that's kind of an interest to me, which is vitamins. Well, a vitamin, but I want to do a series, on a bunch of different ones that I use. I became very interested in natural medicine, alternative medicine, a few years ago. It's something that's always been preached in my house because my dad is the same way. He researches vitamins and their benefits and stuff like that. So I kind of got a little bit from him, and I got a little bit from a movie that I watched back in 2009. I believe it's a 2008 movie, documentary called Food Matters. It's available on Netflix, so you should check it out. It changed my life. It changed my perspective on everything, and it really jump-started me on what I consume and all of that stuff. So it's a good documentary to watch, and there is a gentleman on the movie. His name is Andrew Saul, and he's a biomolecular scientist. I hope I got that right. And I'll get to his website later on in the video, and I'll also put a link in the description box of his website and the name of the movie, Food Matters. So anyway, back before I had the situation with my ex, who was a narcissist, I started having anxiety attacks, and it was a really hard time for me. And I think I might have gone into this in another video, but it's towards the tail end of that is when I started talking to him, and it's kind of how we got to talking, because he also had anxiety, and so we talked about that, and that's kind of how we got connected and all of that. But I started having really bad panic attacks, and it was very uncomfortable, it was just a horrifying experience. I've had them before, but this time it was worse. I started having them at work. I had one before the one that I had at work, but the big one that I had was at work. And as a result, you kind of get an association with anxiety attacks. If you have one in a certain place, you're afraid to go back there for a while. So that led to me having to take a medical leave. I was in bad shape. I was pretty much homebound for I would say a month or two, other than to go see my counselor, who was at my church and very close distance, but that was usually the only place I would go. I didn't like to go outside because people who have had anxiety attacks know that it's like all your senses are heightened. It's pretty much a long-lasting adrenaline rush, and it's very uncomfortable, would be the best way to describe a panic attack, just completely horrifying. And so all of your senses are heightened, including your eyesight. And when I would go outside, even just on the back porch or, out front, it was like the light was just, it was too much. So I didn't even like to go out of the house. Well, I was on Xanax. My doctor prescribed Xanax to me, which helped in the moment, but it wasn't something that I wanted to, go on long term or an everyday basis, other than when it was just really intense. And at the time, I was so petrified of everything already that I was afraid if I continued on Xanax that I would somehow get addicted to it, because it is a very addictive prescription. But I was nervous about that, so I kind of wanted to find some things that would benefit me in the long run, that I could take. And I was seeing my counselor. I think I had seen her about 3 times when she suggested that I should take a vitamin B supplement, or vitamin B complex. And I had been taking vitamins. Like I said, I've been really into vitamins for the last few years. And before the anxiety, I had been on a B complex supplement, which was a sublingual. You put it under your tongue and hold it for 30 seconds and then swallow it, and it's supposed to get in your blood quicker that way. I was taking it because I was working out, and my job was high paced, so it gave me a lot of energy, and I think I ran out of it prior to the anxiety attacks. And another thing is that I came off of all of my vitamins and stuff once the panic attack started. I had started taking ginkgo biloba before because I heard it was good for attention and memory. And my dad, he told me later. He told me after my first panic attack, he said, if you're taking that ginkgo biloba, you might want to read up on it, because if you've just added it, that could have been one of the factors that started, your anxiety. And so I looked into it, and of course, people had said that it did cause anxiety for them. Other people said it helped theirs or didn't cause anxiety, but, I didn't want to take a chance with it. So I came off of that. I came off of everything, and I was going to just gradually add back on what I had been on aside from the ginkgo and see if anything else affected me. But vitamins don't generally cause adverse side effects at all. So if anything, it would just be a supplement like a natural root or plant extract or something like that someone could be allergic to or have an adverse reaction to. So back to my counselor, she suggested taking a B complex, and I thought, okay, well, I'll try getting back on that. And I remember going home after I saw her, and I took one of my mother's B complex pills, and I pretty much had it in my mind, this isn't going to work. These things are too intense for, just vitamin B to work. So I kind of had my doubts about it. Let me tell you, 5 minutes later, it was like I had been looking out a foggy window and someone just kind of wiped it. It was so amazing. It was just, I felt a relief. I felt a lift. I felt just like the edge had been taken off, and it was a good feeling. However, I was still not great at that point, but it was just such a great relief for me. And so, as time has gone on, and I'm doing much better now, but I've kind of researched exactly which B vitamins do the best. And what I've come up with and have researched a good deal on is niacin. Niacin is B3, and it's actually not it's not a vitamin. I'm not exactly sure what the classifications are, but for some reason they do call it a B vitamin, but it's not a vitamin, and I don't remember why it's not, or why it's not able to be classified as a vitamin, but it has been listed under the B complex. All the B complex have B3 or niacin. So I started researching it, and it has done wonders. I take a dropper full, like I said, of the sublingual liquid every morning, and then I take my my multivitamin, my women's multivitamin, which has it in it as well. And then if I need to pick me up through the day, I take another of the liquid. but it's incredible. I actually recently had a moment where I felt kind of anxious and just kind of off. I didn't feel I didn't have a panic attack or anything. I just felt kind of off and just kind of and I took a one of the dropper folds of it and felt a relief. So I know that it works. That's my testimony of it. I know that it works. Like I was talking about the movie Food Matters and the man named Andrew Saul, he has a website called dryourself.com. And that's where I learned the majority about niacin. And I'll post a link in the description box for the niacin article, but you can go through his website and look for other things. All you have to do is type in anything that you want to cure or find relief for at the top of his website. There's a Google search box, and you can type in whatever, and it'll come up with some articles on what vitamins or supplements work for whatever particular ailment you have. So I researched it, and it's just a great vitamin. It's one of those things that, it cures a lot of things, not just, the anxiety. The anxiety was obviously a big one for me. It also cures depression. According, to his article, people have even had experience with it with schizophrenia, that it literally takes away the schizophrenic side effects or symptoms. So there's a lot of good things that it does. Bipolar disorder is another one. I think I read an article that niacin also helps with alcoholism, and I didn't get into that one as much as the other ones, but I will read about it. It's something, obviously important. I don't know any alcoholics. I don't know anybody that, has that, or else I would definitely look into it, but I have, feel free to read about it on his website. But the thing about niacin is, the only thing that I have a little bit of a, I'm kind of nervous about taking it in its purest form, which is just the niacin. There's also a niacinamide that you can take, and that's in most B complexes and multivitamins. Because the niacin in itself, the purest form, will cause you to have what they call a niacin flush. And I'm sure a lot of you have heard of that. But basically, depending on how much you take and the method that you take it, you can powder it if you want to get a quicker reaction or quicker intake of it, or you can just take the pill form. If you take it on an empty stomach, you'll get the niacin flush quicker. If you take it on a full stomach, there's a chance you might still have the flush, but you'll have it later. It's usually, I think they say the onset for an empty stomach is like 5 to 10 minutes, and you'll have just really warm skin. It's kind of like a prickly feeling on the skin. You'll get sort of blotchy depending on how much you take, and you just basically feel like you're having a hot flash, kind of itchy a little bit, I guess. Some people would describe it as itchy. I've never had the flush yet. I haven't taken a high enough dosage of it in the pure form to get that. So, but it's also the reason that you get the flush is because it is a vasodilator, which in layman's terms, it opens up the veins, the capillaries, the arteries. It opens those up, so it lets a lot of blood rush through at the same time. So that's where you get your flush. Your flush from is the blood, rushing to different parts of your body. It's not harmful at all. It's some people actually find it pleasurable to have the flush because it's a warm, feeling, especially in the winter months. I'm sure it's more pleasurable than in the summertime. But that's all it is. It's just, extra, the extra volume of blood, or the extra rushing of blood. And usually, I think the flush subsides in about 15 minutes. So it's not a long-term thing. It's, it's just initially, and then, as the day goes on, it obviously it goes away quickly. So, and then there's the niacinamide, which is typically what you find in a drugstore or a pharmacy. in the vitamin section, and it's just niacinamide, and it obviously, it does what it says. It doesn't make you flush, but it has benefits. I've heard different views on that. I've heard that the niacin pure is a lot more effective with their anxiety, whereas the niacinamide, whereas I've also heard that some people say they haven't noticed a difference. Another thing that niacin is good for is plaque in the arteries. It will raise your HDL cholesterol, the good cholesterol, and lower your LDL. So it's good in both ways, because you're supposed to have a high HDL and a low LDL. But I think generally doctors will tell you the only thing to raise your HDL is to exercise. This actually raises your HDL, the niacin does. And with the added benefit of obviously keeping the plaque down in your arteries, and also because it opens up the veins and all of that, it lowers your blood pressure. So it's good for all of those things. It's just a great vitamin to use all around. And the only side effect obviously is the niacin flush, but that's quick and not long lasting at all. And like I said, that was the I think that was the vitamin that really gave me that relief that I was talking about from the anxiety. So I would recommend going and trying that if you have anxiety, if you have depression, if you have bipolar disorder, if you have, schizophrenia, or you know anyone with any of these, these things. It's, obviously a better alternative than taking, something that has side effects, such as an antidepressant or, a benzodiazepine, which are the sedatives such as Xanax and Valium. There's not as many side effects. So if you're looking for somewhat of an alternative, that would be a great one to go with. Also, I've heard that magnesium is great for anxiety, and I'll probably get on and do another video about magnesium, because I take it. I love it. I love magnesium. It does a variety of things. So, but the niacin, definitely look that up and do some research for yourself, and if you feel it could help you or someone that you know, then by all means, look it up and research it as much as possible. And like I said, I will put the link in the description box to Andrew Slaugh's website and to the niacin article. There are a couple of articles on his webpage, so if you do happen to just go to the general webpage, just type niacin at the top, or you can even type in anxiety, depression, whatever, and it'll pull up a bunch of the articles. So that's my video for today, and I appreciate everyone viewing it. And if you have any suggestions about any vitamins you'd like to know about, or anything like that, please let me know. And hopefully I can do maybe 1 or 2 of these a week. And I'll start with the ones that I'm familiar with first, and that I tend to swear by, and then I'll look into more. If anyone has any suggestions, I'll look into those as well. So just let me know what you think. Have a great night, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.